We all know that redstone is very hard to master, but which redstone item is the best and which ones are the worst? Let's go! So let's start off with the Minecraft bell. So the bell is a good, well, it's not the greatest in redstone, but I guess for warden trap things, it's good for villagers, so I guess A tier, but it's not the greatest. Buttons are good. I'll put them all in A tier. They're all the same, unless you care about looks, but the stone button I think is probably the best button for certain reasons. I don't really know the difference, but I think it's better. I'll just say that. And now pressure plates. Pressure plates are also a decent A tier. Just like put them at your door. And well, next we have a redstone block. So I think redstone block is probably an S tier because you could like turn it back into redstone, and it's good like to carry around when you're mining to turn the redstone dust into redstone blocks, and it's a very good redstone power, but it's a bit expensive. Next we have the stone pressure plate. So I think this is maybe like, I think it might be a bit worse because it's more expensive, and you can't just make it out of cobble, you have to make it out of stone, which is annoying. Same with blacksmith, it's about the same. I don't know when you would ever use an iron pressure plate. It's more expensive and it only emits powers one redstone dust. And the gold is pretty good, but it's per item, so it's slightly better than these, I think. And this one looks rich, yeah. I put that on my doorstep, but it's not very good. It's just because I got it from Ruin Portal, so don't make a gold pressure plate, that's all. Well, a fence gate is probably another A tier. It's gonna have a lot of A tier. I would say redstone dust is probably an S tier. Probably better because you need redstone to do all this stuff. It's like electricity. It powers everything. So redstone dust, easy S tier. All the fence gates are an A tier. A tier is gonna be really big because all of these different fence gates. And now we have the doors, which is probably also an A tier. This is going to be very big. Like all of them, unless you care about the looks of the door, like this acacia door, they're kind of all the same. Well, actually, this one is probably better in usage because you don't burn. So all the netherwood, like the crimson and warped, this is going up in the front because they're the best. Lecterns will be very good, or are very good for the skulk sensor, the new skulk sensor. It's called the calibrated skulk sensor. So it might be an S tier now. Might be an S tier. I'll keep it in A tier because it's not that good. The iron door is cool, but you can only use redstone with it, so I'll put it, actually it's not that good. It's kind of poop. Trapdoors are also an S tier, I'd say. But of course we're putting the nether ones up front because they're not flammable. Wait, they're actually all not flammable, so it doesn't really matter. Whatever. Trapdoors are not flammable. Well, doors aren't either, but in Bedrock they are, so if you're a Java player, it's different. The trapdoors, and yeah, the iron trapdoor I would say is maybe, it's cool, but I think it's too expensive. If you didn't know, it's not like a normal one, you have to do it. It's just in the 2x2 crafting menu, you just fill it with iron everywhere. And it makes one trapdoor instead of 6 for 2, so it's not worth it. TNT is probably a top of A tier because it's TNT. You could blow up to get ancient debris, and like you could troll people with TNT, but it's not S tier because it's not very good. It's just, I guess, just explosives. It's not essential. Slime block is probably an S tier because it's like in every flying machine. Everything uses slime. Same with honey. Buttons. Button. Oh, this is another button. Whatever. A lever. The lever is kind of like a button, so I just put it up top there. A hopper is an easy S tier. Every farm needs a hopper. Collector, you can't have something automatic without a hopper almost. This is a dispenser. Dispenser is pretty good, but I'll put it maybe A tier, top of A tier. A dropper is also pretty good, but not as useful as these stuff, so maybe I'll put it like after the pressure plates, yeah. The dropper. Now an observer, this is like essential to almost any like cheap observer farm, so I'll put this also at top of A tier. Piston, same thing. It's kind of like an observer, like for those easy farms, easy sugarcane farms. Piston observer. Rails. Everything is A tier in Redstone, I guess. Rails are in A tier. Activator rails. Well, this is a B tier because you never use this. This is a detector rail, so it's also a B tier, kind of weird. Buttons, yeah, I just put the buttons right there. And this is a powered rail. So this is probably more important than rails, but it's expensive, so it's probably not as good because it's at that price with a bunch of gold. Redstone lamp. It's a nice decoration, but in redstone, yeah, I guess it shows the power level, but it's good looking, but it's not very useful, so middle of A tier. Redstone torch, easy S tier, easy power. Actually, the lever is also an easy S tier actually, because it's kind of the same thing. And repeater is also like an easy S tier. It's repeater. Extend your redstone signal near repeater. Same with the comparator. It's hard to understand what a comparator is, but I'm not going to explain it because it's very complicated. Like, it changes the redstone signal. Well, if you want to watch a video about that, you could just check some YouTuber out. But this is easy S tier. Note block. The new feature in 1.20, there's the note block with mob heads on it, which is good for trolling, so I guess top of A tier. And also for like those TNT tunnel boards, if you're in Java. Daylight. Well, if it's daylight detector or sensor. In Java and Bedrock they're different. It's kind of underrated, so it's not as good as the buttons and the pressure plates, but it's better than a rail, I would say. It's pretty underrated. And this, that lightning rod conducts redstone. That's a B tier. I don't think you'll ever use this in redstone, to be honest. A target block. It's kind of like the note block, but worse, so B tier. Like, I don't know, you don't use target blocks a lot, but I'm not a redstone expert by any chance. This is a tripwire. I don't think it's that useful because it's like, if anything runs over it, just tripwires, but I guess for trolling a bit, I'll put it B tier. Buttons are all the same. String is kind of the same. I use it with that trapped chest, like the oldest trick in the book. Yeah, B tier. Skulk sensor is pretty good, so I'll put this in top of A. A shrieker, that's redstone. This is D tier. Underwater TNT. This is an education thing, so D tier, because even though in Bedrock you can't do the sand trick that you put it on top and it blows up, it's only available in education, so D tier. Command blocks, they're a creative thing. I put it all in C tier because command blocks, they're just command blocks. They're not, you can't get them in survival, and they're kind of like, the only reason I'm not putting them in D tier is because you could use them in creative worlds. So like even the minecarts too. And I have no idea what this is, so that's D tier. They actually put this. I can't believe it. So this came out in one of the April Fool's updates. So this is called the Ethos Lab, because the big YouTuber Ethos Lab, I think it is, and they just made a meme, Ethos Lab. Well, this is funny. So for everybody that actually watched this point, I'll put in S tier for the memes right there. So if somebody skips to the end, they'll be very confused of that. The minecarts, well, you need it for rails. Rails, it's slow, that's the only thing. You know, if you watch a bunch of Camman 18, he'll just scream that this is slow. So I'll just, it's still useful. So A tier, same with the hopper minecart's more useful. The chest minecart's pretty useful. The furnace minecart, this thing is useless. If you're using a furnace minecart, well, first of all, you're a Java player, and second of all, this is pretty useless. I won't put it complete D tier, but on maybe bottom of B, because you have to be really broke. You could just push it yourself, I feel like, if you're that poor. TNT minecart's like troll, so I'll just put this up in A tier. The buttons all go the same. Another door, another fence gate, another door, another trapdoor, another trapdoor, a pressure plate, another pressure plate, a button, another, there's a button, and a fence gate. I would also put the calibrated skulk sensor in A tier because it is a very useful skulk sensor, which is basically better than the normal one. And here is the S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and finally the D tier. And thanks for watching.